Hello, friends. My name is Maximus, and I'll be your dungeon master for this evening. I'd like to welcome you all to the 19th episode of Caches and Cantrips, where some of your favorite streamers play Dungeons and Dragons on Friday nights. I'm joined by the amazing cast of Bunny Dreadful, Mac and Cheese Please, Virtual Spectre, and Moves Like Jagger from the GGN crew. So excited to see if y'all can find your way out of this mine or not.
A mine.
Our total
We're
party
gonna
wipeout.
die.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Well, we could turn into myconids. I don't know.
Yeah.
That might be cool.
Oh, the mushroom people?
Yeah.
I'm down. My connect came in this gun.
Yeah, it's like what I was saying in chat. The low hit points they build character, or they end character. It's one of the two.
This is fine.
Yeah, but also, in case you didn't know, Caches and Cantrips has a Patreon. I promise I can talk sometimes.
Woo!
Yay!
Yeah.
There's a link for it. So we've got tiers for early access to the podcast, also for early tiers for the videos, and there's even a tier where you can help me build an NPC that will exist in the world. As always, support's not necessary, but we appreciate it, and anything that you do to support us goes towards making the show better for all of you. And also, speaking of early access, you can also catch the live stream after the live stream. That's a weird way to put that. There are VODs available on YouTube, or you can listen in on podcast format, and those come out on Tuesday if you're not a patron. But appreciate you all. Anyway, and that was worded really weird. I don't know why I said it like that, but that's
the
okay.
Non-stream, the non-live stream,
The unstream. I don't know.
the unstream.
Yeah,
The-
whatever it is.
I don't know what you call it.
Past
VOD? I don't
stream.
know.
Yeah.
Past stream.
The
No
past.
longer now stream.
Our past selves.
Yeah. You can go back in the past and the future and then watch us live, not live. If that.
Hey.
Boom.
There you go.
Boom.
Okay. Anyway, now that we got all the sillies out of the way, we can go ahead and try, anyway, to settle in for tonight's episode of Caches and Cantrips. Our story last left off with our adventurers immediately taking a short rest after their tough battle against the creatures that looked like cave formations. After their brief respite, they started delving deeper into the Royal Vantis mine to find the remaining two expeditionary miners, Carlin and Lurka. As they went deeper, it was immediately apparent that they were starting to venture well beyond the confines of the mine and into the unknown depths. They eventually made their way to a cavern that led straight down. They noticed some pitons on the sides of the cavern and believed that this was the path that the miners must have taken. Ultimately, they were successfully able to negotiate the obstacles thanks to Vin's climbing gear that she had chosen to bring with her. They found their way into a large open chasm where the left side of the path was a sheer drop that descended well beyond sight and sound. They noticed some low glowing torchlight and campfires on a path below them, though. Unfortunately, the cave was full of violent violet fungi and some nasty rust monsters. They were able to defeat the creatures after a long battle, but not without some of their weapons being heavily damaged from the rust monster's corrosive touch. After a brief investigation of the hasty campsite, they continued onward. Continuing, the party encountered another open chamber, but with seemingly no exit. But the group found a pool of water with a tunnel leading out of their current area. While trying to negotiate the obstacle, Ron decided to use Speak with Animals to converse with some local blind cavefish. He was able to get the valuable information that it would take 5 swims to reach the other side of the flooded tunnel. After some scouting ahead, the group was able to make it to the other side of the obstacle. And they continued further down and found that the path started to narrow all the way down to 10 feet wide. They continued downward and found some rough-hewn stairs and an open cavern. That's when they started to hear rhythmic tapping throughout the cave system. When they saw the open cavern, it was made out of stone like everything else, but It appeared that the rock had been carved to form walls or some sort, some beginnings of a settlement perhaps. They spotted one of the missing miners lying on the stone floor in the cavern, but they were ambushed by a family of hook horrors. After a hard-fought battle with monstrosities, the party was able to finally defeat the monsters. During the battle, Valken noticed a figure peering through a crack in a door from a stone structure beside them. And that is where we shall begin our story tonight. What do you do?
How's everybody holding up? I'm hurting pretty bad.
I'm doing mediocrely okay, seeing as I couldn't do anything the whole time.
I don't know, I'll tell you in a minute. I'm checking myself for cuts and scrapes on internet.
Yep, and as a note, of course, Vin, you are able to speak normally again since it only lasts a minute, so no longer do pink bubbles float out of your mouth when you try to talk.
Thank you.
Oh, I feel fine, and then I'm gonna spit up a bunch of blood on the ground. Yeah, I'm totally
touch my
fine. Oh, sorry. Oh, it's fine. That's normal.
I mean, I got hook horror blood all over me, so I guess it doesn't matter.
I'm gonna drink some healing tonic, and I'm gonna offer it to Ron first. Let me roll for you. I mean, I guess we're gonna short rest, but we don't know what's on the other side of that door, right?
Also, Ron, we seem to be pretty far in a cave. I cannot understand what you're saying. Can you come closer?
Oh. Nice.
Thank you.
Ron's just so exhausted that and pain that words cannot form through Ron's throat.
It's okay. We have a healer, Bryn. Help
Okay,
him.
well, give me a minute to get myself in order. I'm sort of maybe not dying. I don't know. 1 second. I always forget what this is. 16, 6, okay.
So,
Wow.
Valken and Ron, if you were standing around, you no longer see a figure in the doorway.
They were the only ones who saw it, right?
But you don't hear any footsteps or moving or anything of that sort.
Ron
I think
gets
I did
15
tell everybody about
healing.
it during the fight,
Ooh.
I think you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I think he did.
so we know there's a door.
Velkin,
over
you
there.
want to sip?
Yeah.
Okay, you get, let's see, that's going to be 14 healing for you.
Ah,
And Vin,
Thank
you
you,
said you're
Bryn.
feeling okay?
That's good.
You can save your tonic for later.
You sure?
I'm 3/4 good, you know, so I've still
Okay.
got some vitamin.
Still pretty hurt if anyone else has any, like, healing capabilities, if I'm being quite honest.
Ron is feeling much better, but still very hurt.
Let me look and see what we have here.
While we're hanging out,
D&D
I
pile?
think I have a potion. Do I see it on here? I do have one. Potion of
I
healing.
have nothing.
What were you gonna say, Valken?
Falcon would like to start walking towards the door.
Okay. Are you intending
once
to
I get
be
to it.
stealthy, walking normally? You're gonna call out to anyone?
I don't think he's trying to be stealthy at this point. He just kind of casually strolls up, and I just kind of want to peek through, see if I can see anything with my dark vision. I don't want to go fully in.
Sure.
I'm gonna
So-
drink mine as well.
You can see this area, kind of the doorway. It looks like it wasn't like cracked open in that it was almost destroyed and it's kind of barely hanging on. You peer and look into the right side. You see like some rubble, pile of something like in a sack. Not sure what it is unless you get a little closer, and you kind of try and peer around the door, but you can't get further to the left, if that makes sense. You can peer through the right up to a certain point.
It's kind of because it's kind of like busted stuff,
Yeah.
so I can't push it open, or
You could try.
before I do that, just look back at everybody. Should I check in here? What should I do? Are we good? I know there's somebody in here.
I'll
Just-
spit out a little more
just-
blood onto the ground. I feel much better now. Let us.
One moment.
Let's go.
And I'll walk up to Valkan and Bryn at the same time, and you both heal 5 hit points. My last lay on hands.
Who?
Thank you.
To
Thank
Falcon
you,
and
Rob.
Bryn?
I think
Is that
Yeah,
for everybody
Falcon-
or just for the two?
It's just for
Just for them
Falcon.
too. Yeah,
Okay.
Valkan and Bryn.
Much better than I was, but
Ah,
this
Thanks,
is still
Rob.
gonna be rough.
Oh. But there was person behind door. We should
Maybe
look.
it's the survivors.
okay.
Rob's gotta rush to the I think this is a gnome
Mm-hmm.
that was found dead.
Yeah, there is a gnome that's just lying
Oh,
face
yeah.
down on the stone floor
Oh shit!
amidst the
I did
carnage
say
of the
that as soon
battle.
as able, I was gonna run over there.
Okay,
I said I didn't want to forget that because I knew that would happen.
gotcha.
Yeah, I want to run over there first thing. As soon as I'll on my way to drinking the tonic, I'll like be running towards them, run back, pour some down Valkan and Ron's throats, then
Sure.
run back over to the.
Okay, so you make your way over to the gnome that's face down, motionless on the stone floor.
I'd like to do a medicine check. See
Gotcha.
if they're alive. Ron, we need help. There's oh, that's not good.
Oh, Ron will cast.
5.
What do I have? This spell? Spare the dying, just in case.
Ooh,
So
nice.
you go and do a medicine check, and you're kind of trying to feel for a pulse, and you're not sure if you can't find it. You know, if it's too dark, you've got too much going on, and when you roll them over, you can see just 2 giant slash marks all the way across their
no.
chest, which you would recognize that it was probably from one of the hook hoarders.
Yeah. Well, I guess we could take his body back to his loved ones at the least.
Yes. Okay, well, we should check on the other person we saw other side.
Okay. Valkan's just gonna try to kick down what's left of the door.
Sure, you mean athletics check.
He's frustrated. He wants to get out of here. That's athletics.
Yep.
21.
Easy enough. You roundhouse kick this door and it flies off the hinges.
I
You
just walk through.
you notice
like-
that there was some hasty barricade put behind it, and it just flies across the room. And as you kind of
Eh.
walk in, you see this figure huddled in the corner, and you see them kind of like get up and like scurry behind the wall and point a hand crossbow at you. Don't come any closer! No, don't kill me!
Yo,
Person looks terrified.
what's your name?
And
What's your
the
name?
eyes are darting back and forth. You're not here to kill me.
Listed. We just fought through a bunch of monsters, and you're asking me if I'm gonna kill you.
Well, I don't know who you are. I'm Carlin.
Is that one of the names we were looking for? Thanks.
Listen, we were hired to come down here and see if we can find you and your friends alive. We fought through countless monsters. Some of us are almost dead. I would really like to leave, so if we could stop hiding and come out now, that'd be great.
What am I supposed to know what was happening? I was trying to hide from the monsters. I know they got
Right.
Lorca. Did they get Dimble or Dane? I haven't seen them in hours, days.
We
They made
found
it
two of your
out.
friends alive, at least.
Yeah, Dimble and Dane are right?
Mm-hmm.
Are safe. Did
Anyway,
we leave them or did they go out on their
I
own?
think
no, no.
I think they went out themselves.
I suggest you gather yourself up now, and the faster we get out of here, the better.
All right, and they grab a sack, like full of equipment, and for those of you that are in the room, I don't definitely that Valken is. You kind of see that there's kind of that large sack, and then something like a large kind of like laid against a corner. And as you're looking around, this kind of little stone area is lightly furnished, but it looks incomplete. Like it was carved enough to where you could stay in there, but there isn't any like finishings to it, if it makes sense.
You said this
Carved
is,
like
this
a
one's
home?
Carlin.
Mm-hmm. Like some space.
Like they were maybe working on a area to stay while they were down here working or something.
Not sure.
Or like they found it like this. Like it's not like the rest of the.
Could be either one. You just have to ask or make an inference.
What is this room?
I have no idea. We got down here and well, we saw the cavern open. We heard tapping and one of the monsters jumped on Lurka, and I saw a door and I ran in and closed it, and luckily they're too stupid to open it, so they couldn't break it down.
So this room was here when you got here. I thought this part of the mine wasn't really well traveled.
It's not at all. Someone else must have built this.
Hmm.
Can I go in? Like I'm listening to them talk. Can I go in and do an investigation on like the carving to see if I can determine how old it is? Architecture. I love architecture.
Yeah, I would go history if you're looking at specifically architecture and trying to relate that.
Do I know history? Sure.
And while she's doing that, I guess I'll go see what's in the corner of that sack or whatever.
19.
19. Okay. So you can see that this is carved right out of the stone, out of the passage or the cavern itself, and something this deep. You're not sure if any of the kind of established cities or would be this deep. It doesn't immediately scream dwarven to you. However, you do know that there are various other subterranean races that live underground. And if you had to guess while it's unfinished, Duragar or Drow?
I'm not gonna say that right now.
Okay. And Valken, you go over to kind of the area and you find like almost like a leather bag. When you grab the leather, it doesn't feel like normal like cow leather or anything, like it's made of some other substance. And you kind of open it up and it is just got several gems inside of it.
I don't know why, but I thought you were gonna say skulls. I was really concerned.
And you can see laid up on the wall is some sort of weapon. It's got a long haft with kind of a pointed tip, but you notice that this pointed tip has barbs that extend from the tip down kind of the business end of this weapon. It's not made of wood or something that you're familiar with, though.
Well, I'll go ahead and pick up this sack with the stuff in it then.
And from what you see, it's like jet black material.
It's filled, or there's a few things.
Oh, there's several gems in there. It's not like a large bag. It's like a belt pouch or something along those lines. But there's a handful or two.
Can I inspect the weapon on the wall more closely?
Sure.
Like,
What are you trying to learn from it?
I guess what it is in more detail, because it sounds like a spear, but
Yeah, just judging from looking at it, unless you're trying to figure out what it's made of or like, you know, the history or some kind of this weapon, you can look at it and say it maybe some kind of javelin, maybe a spear, but it looks more javelin than spear. It's kind of halfway in between, if that makes sense. Whereas a javelin normally wouldn't have barbs on it because you wanted to be able to throw it pretty far,
Right.
but it's not exactly the same construction of a spear.
I just don't want to go around touching random weapons.
Oh, I do. What is it? Let me look at it.
Hey, anybody interested in a weapon? There's one over here.
Because I don't know if you guys remember this, but also for chat's sake, my spear just got like acid gooped last session, and it's now a -2 penalty on
Sure
that.
is. So if you go and go
So-
investigate or look at this spear, just with your general history roll, just kind of look at the area. It's a drow weapon. Now
Oh,
this
this
kind of
is,
solidifies that this is probably something that you're not sure if they built it and abandoned it or if they decided it wasn't worth it or what, but there are a couple things left
Got
here.
eaten by hook horrors. I'm gonna pick up the weapon.
Okay. You pick it up.
Mhm.
It's made of like a very dark like chitinous material on the end, and kind of the haft or like the end where you would hold. It's kind of like wood. It's hard and sort of fibrous, but it's not wood.
Did you want to use this, Falcon, or you're good with your sword there? You know, I wouldn't mind. My spear's kind of not in very good shape. She has seen better days.
Right. I think I'm fine with my sword.
Right? Anyone else? You know, and mind if I? Cool. Okay, this is
yours.
this is good. Help us get out of here. If I fight with this, what weapon stats am I supposed to be using?
So you would be using strength for it.
Okay.
You will not know anything about it unless you decided to spend some time and like look at it. If you either had like
But I
identify
could
or
still
short
use
rest.
it as a weapon.
Yeah, you can use it as a weapon.
I've got my axe. This can be a backup weapon. Okay.
Okay. Shall we get the hell out of this place?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it's a good idea.
Yeah, let's leave.
Gotcha. Okay. So you gather the things and you thoroughly search. There's nothing really of note in here other than that. But you start heading back the way you came, I'm assuming, with Carlin in tow.
Very good.
And what I'm going to do is I am going to have one of you make a survival check for me, and then we will see how long it takes for you to get back. It's not a question of do you know where you are. You have a rough idea, but it's still kind of a long, not easy path, if that makes sense.
I'll do it. Hold on. 19 plus 5.
Okay, so you make pretty good time where when it took you about 4 to 5 hours to reach this point, it maybe takes you about 3 on the way back. You're still far, but you know you know the way to go back. So you go up the rough-hewn stairs and you start to make your way. You get to about where the flooded tunnel was, and that's when you start hearing tapping again in the caverns. But as you hear that, you successfully negotiate the flooded tunnels. You make your way back through there. It was a little dicey with Carlin for a moment, but you're able to move on. He couldn't hold his breath quite as long, but
dwarf or he's a halfling?
Carlin's a dwarf. The one that
okay.
are either you left behind or you're carrying with you.
Yep.
Was a gnome.
Okay, so he's easy. That's an easy thing to carry with us. Okay.
Yeah. So you make it back through.
Sad.
You go through the area where the rust monsters were, making good time and being careful to avoid any of the fungi that were left behind. So taking the path down instead of hugging the wall. You make your way through there. You find the large kind of chasm in your rope, which you left behind. So you can easily climb that. It takes some time, but you're doing quite well. So you get everyone back up. You get your rope back, your pitons if you'd like to collect them if you want. And you make your way. You go back to the chamber where you encountered the oozes. But you took care of those without any issue. And after several hours later, you start seeing the familiar signs of okay, we're back in the mine proper. You know, there are torches, there's signage, there's scaffolding, there's kind of purpose to these chambers. And when you make it out, it is dusk, going to dark at this point. You were down there for quite a while. Luckily, you didn't have to try and rest down there. So you make your way out and you are in the encampment. And of course, Carlin runs out and goes to see some fellow workers as they're checking on him and kind of triaging to see if they're hurt in any way. But you come back and you make contact with Finna, who was the person in charge there. All right, well, I see that, well, will you tell me what happened? I see we got some of them back alive.
There's
Yes.
the mushrooms that plagued the area, some stalactites that turned out to be monsters that plagued the area, but you didn't tell us about. And then
How was I supposed to know?
You should really just never go back in there. You should probably just collapse the whole thing.
It's your minds. How did you?
Well, I'm
Yes,
not
Shocked
an
that you didn't
expeditionary
have more
miner.
casualties.
You have dug too deeply and have stirred up dark, terrible horrors.
So here's the thing. You also came across what looks to be a drow structure of some sort. So quite possibly that goes even further because it's not like there would just be the one chamber. So whatever you did down there, you have now accessed. What do they call it? Under thingy, the under.
like ancient
The
under?
You mean the
Dirt.
Underdark?
Yeah, this
I
is
didn't-
it. And you should probably seal it off because there's much worse things down there.
Well, I'm not too sure if we
We
had
fought some pretty
gotten,
bad ones.
gotten that deep, but well, I will have to cave that part in and go a different direction.
There's
Of
no
course.
saying if you dig deep enough, you always find the Underdark, you know, so maybe be more careful next time.
Right. Well, normally it would be much further to get to the Underdark, but we'll heed your advice at least, and I'm sure we'll get some pushback from the Crown since they are quite hungry for minerals to fund the war effort, make weapons, things of that sort. So
Well, if you're going to go back down there, maybe have them send you some more guards or something to fight the what are the things we fought with the hooks and the claws.
Yes, it was very horrifying.
Yeah, very horrifying hook things.
all right, and she start pointing some people out. You get down there, start caving in the hole. We're gonna have to find another way in the another direction at least. You see like a group of like 8 to a dozen just dwarves, gnomes, humans, just kind of all grabbing equipment, getting lanterns and kind of going back down in the mine to seal that area off.
Oh, we used some of the lantern oil, but here's your lantern back, and
All right, thanks. All right.
and where do you want us to leave this little guy?
All right, that's
The dead body.
Lurka. All right, just take him over here to the triage area, and oh shite, we'll have to notify their family, and of course, you know, make them whole. Ah, damn. I was hoping you get all of them, but I understand. All right. Well, I do owe you some coin, I believe. As far as you know, it's nothing else down there. We should be good to start operations again once we cave in that cavern.
Yeah, but the mushrooms
yes.
were pretty much like everywhere, so I don't know if that's very like, I don't know. Just be careful.
Right. All right. We'll be careful.
Let's just say if you have to come and ask us for help again, we're not going to be very happy, okay?
We'll want triple, just saying.
Okay. Well, if you'll follow me and you kind of make your way to kind of like a large, like almost like management style tent, a little bigger than everything else. There's a desk, the papers, and kind of where you originally met Finna. She kind of sits there at the desk and opens one of the drawers. All right. Well, that's 800 for clearing out the mine, 100 apiece for each worker found alive. So you're looking at 1,100 gold, and she kind of counts out some coin and puts it on the counter, mixture of platinum and some gold in that. And right, the contract, and she kind of gets out her quill, dips in some ink, and signs it back over to you all. I believe you'll be needing this. So we should be completed for our contract. I didn't know it was going to be that dangerous, but
Contract is complete.
you took care of it pretty quick, I'll say, and about a day's work.
It is now late. Would it be fine if we camp here?
Oh right, yeah, more than welcome to stay here. No problem at all. Just set up your tents or what have you, whatever you have room. And well, you know, we run around the clock here, so it's always dark in the mines. So we'll have crews down there working, but more than welcome to sleep. It doesn't bother you.
Should be fine.
It's fine.
And we'll set up a tent away from the clinging and planging.
Yeah, as long it's kind of a big work area since there's so much being done. You can kind of make your way over to where everyone else has their tents and stuff set up to avoid some of the busyness of the mine starting back up. Okay. So you bed down for the night, easy enough to find a place here. And assuming that Bryn, are you gonna inspect that weapon a little more?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I am going to add something to your character sheet real quick.
Please be good. Please be good. Or at least funny. 275 gold each.
Well, it's a drow weapon. I'm not sure how funny they get.
They have sense of humor, surely.
Every time you bleed an enemy, the spear laughs.
Uh,
Oh man. Give me a second, I have to
That would
find
be
it.
a good one.
This was a mistake. This was a mistake. What have I done?
Every
Weapons are
weapon
fun.
we're gonna find cursed.
Probably.
I haven't even said that it's cursed or anything bad about it. I'm just trying to add it to the character
I
sheet.
know,
y'all.
you're making me nervous. I'm like,
Well, it's drow, so like, chances are.
Hold
I'm
your
just speaking
horses.
from experience. I finally partially know what my sword does, and it's kind of like.
Okay, it's not gonna show up for me right now. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna screenshot it for you, Bun, and then we'll go from there.
mhm.
Okay.
By the way, you guys in the audience should follow each of these lovely content creators if you haven't done so already. Our information's on the screen.
Thanks, buddy. Bear with me, things might get a little wonky here for a second while I try and find this.
And those for who are listening on podcast, that would be twitch.tv/bunnydreadful, twitch.tv/acncheesep1z, and twitch.tv/virtual_spectre, and twitch.tv/ggncrew.
It'll also be in the description of the podcast too. There you go.
But if you're
Yeah, but
driving and
some
listening to
people
this,
can't
then
read.
wait until you get home, please.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I sent it to you, Bun. We'll work on it later to make sure that it shows up.
Okay.
Anyway, so you're able to get a long rest. So make sure and put that on your sheets. So good for you. And it is now the 15th day.
Oh, long rest, thank you.
Does
Of
long
Sextus.
rest mean that we level?
Almost, not quite. So you wake up and there is a kind of a heavy downpour, heavy rain, some light wind. It's dropped the temperature quite a bit for the summertime months, and you all are kind of thanking your lucky stars that you weren't in the bottom of the mine during a heavy rainfall.
Oh. Oh, Ron is just so happy that it's raining. He's just outside in his loincloth, just letting the rain soak down on him.
Okay.
Oh, refreshing.
Falcon wakes up and sees Ron doing this. Ron, I don't feel like waking up and seeing a second moon.
Oh, it is a great big moon last night.
There's
Yes.
two of them.
Oh, 2 moons. Where is the
Right
second
now, Ron.
moon? It is covered by clouds. Ron cannot see.
Yeah, and the other one's partially covered by a loincloth.
Ron like swings back around, grabs his cheeks. Oh, this is what elves call moon. But Ron is not familiar with elven word moon for butt.
Well, there you go. You learn something new every day, don't you?
Oh, okay. Ron will remember this.
Please.
Can I attune to this during our long rest?
You sure can.
Fantastic.
So just go off of
I
the...
would also like to. Actually, while we're resting, you guys will see Bryn kind of holding her damaged spear in one hand and this javelin and her axe, and she looks kind of like she's making a really hard decision. And then you hear her, and she starts apologizing to her spear.
Bryn?
It is not your fault. You did a very good job. It's it's nothing personal. I feel like it's better for the group, really. It's better for all of us. And I know you don't understand because we'll eat our spear, but you have to see it's the right decision.
Bryn, do you
I know
have
this is
minor
not-
sickness?
huh?
Who are you talking to?
What? I am talking to my spear.
Your spear cannot talk
Brida.
back to you.
Oh, well, everything has sort of a spirit, so it understands. We have a special relationship. I'm gonna switch my weapon, my Eldritch Knight weapon
Mhm.
feature to this new weapon.
Gotcha.
So that when I throw it, I can get it back.
It is on your character sheet now and attuned to you. Just
Mhm.
be mindful of the note at the end, since you can actually change that in D&D Beyond
Wait, what note at the end?
about the range.
Oh, you can't add that in D&D Beyond?
You can't change the range of a weapon type, so it's functionally a javelin, but the long range is only 60 feet. Still have 30 feet initial
Okay.
range, and then all the other goodies that you get from that.
Okay.
Okay, It's raining heavily. It is up to you where you all would like to go.
I'm gonna take a look at the old map here.
Yeah, and I think that you all know you need to go to Tustin, at least to the guild, to turn in your contract. I believe Valken had some interest in something along the way.
We also still have Virgil's sword.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you spoke with Tyrion Van about that, and he was going to try and get you an audience. So, he may have some information when you get back, depending.
All right. Then, shall we head back?
Okay.
It's fine with me.
And Bryn attuning to her new weapon reminds me of that random ring that I found. And I like look at the group and I'm like, and then I put it back in my pocket.
Did
Did we I assume we would have looked through that bag closer to see what gems were. Did we already talk about that?
Yeah, you I will let you know what all the gems that you get. So you find a quite large piece of alexandrite, an amethyst, a deep blue spinel, an emerald, jasper, moonstone,
too fast.
a red brown spinel. I'll let you know later.
I'm
No
gonna
worries.
send someone else has it
You
because
can,
I've
like,
already.
copy and pasta
Yeah,
that.
a rich
Yeah, I've
purple
already gone.
corundum, a star
Oh.
rose quartz. So quite a few gems, and you've noticed just none of you I don't think are proficient in like jewelers tools, but they're not like perfectly like polished, ready to like set or like sell. So you kind of guess you'd probably have to take it to someone to clean them up. They look almost like that they just were kind of picked out of caverns or something and just kind of put in the bag. So they're pretty rough looking.
Okay, so they're raw.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All right, we'll pack up and head back to Tustin.
Okay. So, you grab your horses, as well as Elkie, who was patiently waiting outside. And you mount up and you're ready to go. It takes you, I think, about 4 days or so with the heavy rain, even though you're partially on the roads.
I did want to as we passed where I saw the smoke when we were coming in, I assume since it's been raining, I don't see any smoke there anymore.
So, we'll get to that. You make your way around the kind of large capital city of Falshir, and kind of similarly, you know, those of you that didn't grow up in the large city are just almost in awe at just how like expansive this place is. There's just a large wall surrounding it completely, small like settlements and shanty towns and crops that are outside of it. You see like a large garrison of troops. And what you didn't notice before as you're going around, it's so expansive that it almost butts up against the mountains. And you can see sort of up a little bit is like a large kind of citadel where you would assume that a castle or a keep would be if you were to be a little closer. So you skirt around that, head back onto the main road, and as you're traveling, you see, similarly in the kind of rolling hills there, Valken, you look over, it is heavily raining. Make a perception check for me.
That'll be 13.
A 13. So amongst the heavy rain, you kind of squint your eyes just a bit, and you're not sure if there is smoke or something there. You knew that you saw it on the way down here. There's some haze in the air, so maybe the rain could be dissipating some of it. You're not sure. You'd have to get closer to take a look. But from what you remember last time is it was not like forest fire black smoke, but more white smoke like a campfire or like from a chimney or something.
I guess I'll turn to the group and kind of, how's everybody feeling on the travel so far? You like making a detour briefly?
Oh, what do you need?
Or did you see like a bakery?
What did you see? What should we do?
No bakery. I didn't see one. A certain place that's important to me is in that direction. And I saw something. I saw smoke when there really shouldn't be anything out there anymore. So I'm curious as to what's happened. I haven't been to this place since I was younger.
Oh, you're familiar with this area?
Yeah.
You suspect trouble? Foul play?
No. The school where I trained in my martial arts is located in that direction. But it was destroyed some time ago. Which makes me curious as to who or what's out there now.
Oh,
This is important to Valken. It is important to run.
I mean,
agreed,
it's,
yes.
if we need to get back to the guild, it's perfectly fine.
There is no hurry.
Yes,
Yeah.
no
I
rush.
can wait.
As you said, it is on the way.
How about this? We go with you and then maybe dinner is on you, Valken. Understood?
Sure.
All right, perfect. We
fine.
have deal. Let us go.
And then
Okay.
I'll kind of hear us and then in that general direction.
So
since I'm
you
familiar.
veer to the east a bit, and you kind of make it on the third day. So it's kind of in between Tustin and Valshir. But as you're kind of going past the forest, he takes you to a trail to the east. And as you get closer and closer, you see that there are some smoke plumes out there, Valken. And you can see in the distance that there's kind of a large lake. And Valken, you see structures. You see buildings that you didn't think were there anymore.
Hasn't they look like what used to be there, or these are like houses or something?
They look like what used to be there.
Okay.
We all see it.
Yeah, you see buildings out there.
Is this an illusion, Malkin?
I don't know. I guess we should get closer and find out.
What do you remember about this area?
A lot. I've spent years here.
Hmm.
In my school, before it was destroyed, looked very much like what's standing there now.
Do you think
It
it's a
was
trap?
completely destroyed?
There was not much left. And it wasn't too terribly long ago. I guess somebody could have rebuilt something, but it's odd.
So as you get closer towards kind of the edge of the lake, you see like a similar structure, kind of the entrance to this area, almost kind of like a torii in like Japanese architecture, where there's kind of an arch in the middle there. And you notice as you're passing by where, the top may have been made of wood, some of the foundation was stone. The wood looks new, but the stone, you can see some like burn marks and still on it. And you make your way kind of through this arch There's trees dotting the area. You see sort of similar like wooden bridges that are kind of go over the lake into small kind of land masses as it's kind of piecemealed together. And then where you see kind of the school where you had trained is after a few bridges over the water, kind of in the middle. And you can see, looks to be similar to what you remember. It's been a while. So you make your way over to the first bridge, assuming you'd want to go forward or not, up to you.
Yeah. I'm determined to find out what's going on.
Okay. So you kind of approach the first bridge, and just immediately, Valken, you pick up a sound that you're familiar with. You hear kind of the zip of an arrow go past you and sticks into a target that you didn't previously see. It's dead center in the bullseye.
Did I see which direction the arrow was flying from, or was it?
Yeah, from the direction that you were going.
I don't see who shot it yet, though.
You don't.
Ron quickly moves forward, puts his shield up, looks, stand behind Ron. It gets like a defensive form.
Take it easy, Ron.
So when Ron kind of moves forward, hops off Elkie and puts the shield down, you see kind of a figure step out. With it being kind of rainy and hazy, they step out and they are quite a ways away, kind of pushing the distance of what you would expect for a longbow to shoot, easily 500 feet away or more. And this figure sort of steps out, and you see this gigantic bow, easily as tall as they are, and you see them pull and hold. And a voice.
I'll hop down. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, a voice calls out and says, "Not any closer. I won't ask you again." And it carries over the water.
Okay. I'll hop down off my horse now. Kind of tap Ron on the shoulder and walk in front of him with my hands up. And just yell as possible. Yell, make sure I hear, or she hears, whoever it is. There's no need to shoot. I'm a former student here.
And in the middle of when you're kind of calling out, the bow drops and this voice just yells, "Valken,
Oh,
is that you?"
Yes.
So they start to walk closer, and you recognize the voice. At first you were unsure, but you see walking towards you now is a human woman, about your age, with kind of long straight blonde hair that's kind of put up, and wielding a longbow, wearing a similar colored kind of gi or robes as you are, with the kind of dark greens and blues. And as she gets closer, immediately recognize her as Emma Drake, a former student when you were there. And she had earned the title the Dragon when you all earned yours in the academy.
Whoa.
She's still pretty far away, or?
Yeah, she's 500 feet, making her way, jogging kind of down the way towards you, and as she gets closer, you recognize kind of just the like light brown eyes, and you can see kind of one of her arms, the sleeve is kind of is cut a little higher for freedom of movement with the bow, And you all see just an intricate tattoo that kind of goes up the fingers, the back of her hand, and coils around her arm. It is a tattoo of a dragon.
Ooh.
Falcon, it's been a long time.
It has. What? What is all this?
Well, I'm sure you know that the academy was attacked and burned down, but luckily we saw it coming and got most everyone out, but you know, Sensei, he didn't want to leave. But ordered us all to leave, so we came back and rebuilt. It took quite a while, and honestly, it took almost a year for any of us to kind of gather the courage to come back and to pick up where he left off.
How many of you? All?
And some didn't come back. Lots of new faces, lots of, young students. Now, it's pretty much, me and Folus, taking care of things here. You remember Folus as the student about your age who wielded the longsword that you were familiar with once you picked up the one that you currently have, who's known as the Tiger.
I'm glad that you're safe.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Please just yes, let's get out of the rain. Everyone just come, and she calls out, it's all right. It's all right. It's nothing to be worried about. And you see probably a dozen or so faces of children as young as 5 or 6 up to 12, 13 different, age range and skill levels. And you see kind of amongst them is Folus, who is a wood elf like yourself. Difference being that he actually has kind of a green tint to his skin, with short auburn hair and sort of bright green eyes. You make your way up the bridge there, and Folus kind of says, Valken, is that you?
In the flesh and blood.
It's wow. 10, 12 years since we saw you?
Something like that. I'm getting kind of old. Hard for me to remember. But you look greener than before. Have you been out in the sun too long?
Funny. I see that you have decided to switch to the superior weapon, and he points at your sword in your back.
Superior is a funny word. But yes.
And
although I don't know what to feel about this one, it's a little strange.
you'll get used to it.
That remains to be seen. I have to admit, I was not expecting to see the school standing again.
Well, I mean, Emma decided that she would not leave it burned. So I came back after a while and saw what she was doing and decided to help. We didn't get everyone back, or most of everyone, but we have a decent start. You can kind of see that it's not exactly as you remember. It's a combination of just kind of new construction. Some things they tried to salvage the best they could, but it's close. It kind of maintains the spirit of it. And who are your friends?
Right.
I'm Ben, and I like curtsy.
Nice to meet you.
They call me Ron.
Ron?
I'll sort of nod and be like, my name is Brand. It is nice to make your acquaintance.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully you're keeping this one out of trouble. He's kind of a pain in the ass. Isn't that right, buddy? He looks to you, Valken.
If I remember right, you were just as much of a pain in the ass as well, so let's not
Right.
act all high and mighty here.
It's not how I remember, but we'll go with that. All right, come in. We're just, getting ready to eat supper. We're more than welcome to stay. And Emma's kind of ushering in kind of the young students
How young are
Are
the
you-
students?
between like 4 and 5 up to like 13 or 14.
Wow.
You
Okay.
know, human, elf, half elf, gnome, halfling, just kind of a spattering of just looks like a bunch of like young kids who didn't really have anywhere else to go. Just there at the school. And they kind of usher you in, and one thing that you notice is kind of inside the main kind of academy area is it is spotless. There's not a speck of dirt or dust or anything out of place at all. Everything has its place and is very well organized, just as how you would remember it, Valken. And you can see
there
that
No signs of it having been like destroyed at one point?
there's some things, like if you see some construction that was made of stone, it would, maybe be cracked or have like some burn marks on it as they tried to salvage it as best they could. Most of the wood seems to be new, as they would have to
So it's not like
rebuild that.
suspicious or anything like that. It looks like
rebuilt.
one would expect.
Well, I see the master definitely rubbed off on you some. This place looks just as clean as he had it.
He wouldn't have it any other way, honestly. And Emma's answering it. Yes, go ahead and start. And you see some of the students go and rush towards what you think might be the kitchens, working on some stew. Well, that may come as a surprise to you, but I guess I'm sensei now here. Wouldn't have thought, honestly, but someone had to do it, I guess.
Yeah, I always felt you could do the job. Anyway,
And she kind of looks to all of you. She's like, "Oh, sorry. Shoes off, please."
Sure.
And you can,
Strange, but
you can leave
whatever.
your equipment here if you'd liked. It won't be bothered at all.
Oh, okay. Do you
I'll
have?
look to Valkan for like, is this okay? Like,
Yeah.
I would do it.
Can we leave our socks on?
Oh yes, no, not a problem. We're just worried about dust and dirt. Try and keep it as clean as we can. But no worry, you didn't know, so not a problem. But
Should
yeah,
we remove our armor as well?
That's totally up to you. Whatever makes you most comfortable.
Oh, okay. Brennan,
Ron.
can you help Ron?
oh, of course. Here, let me give you a hand, buddy.
Yeah, so you kind of put your belongings down, and Emma kind of just walks with Valken kind of towards the center, and you can see sort of another kind of room off of the side where there's sort of a not really a table, but it's kind of a long like eating place, and there are mats on the floor for everyone to sit. There aren't any chairs in here. You see some of the students kind of sitting crisscross applesauce style. Are kind of just playing with each other, like poking each other, shoving. And as soon as Emma walks in, they straighten up and kind of, keep their hands to themselves.
Wow, this is very behaved children.
Well, I try my best. I'm sure you've talked to Valken. I'm sure I don't compare at all to Sensei Gin, but I'm doing what I can to remember him as best I can. What brings you all here, Falcon? What made you come back?
Well, we had a job in the mines not too far from here, the ones close to the city, and I
Interesting.
noticed the smoke coming. And I wasn't aware anybody had moved in, let alone rebuilt the entire thing. So
It did take a while. It's been quite the process. We've only been, I think, fully constructed for maybe a year. We didn't have a whole lot of help, so I'm not much of a carpenter. So we hired when we needed to if we had extra coin, but had to learn quite a bit in the process.
how do you manage?
Honestly, barely. But we do what we can. Trying to garden and farm for as much as we are able. Fish from the lake for food as well.
Kind of in awe that any of this is here.
Yeah, I was too for a while. I'm glad you weren't here to watch it burn, but I wouldn't wish that on any of the students. But it's, well, quite the turnaround.
Turn to my companions. Apologies. You guys would like to sit? Feel free.
Oh, yes, thank you. Ron kind of like awkwardly walks over and just sits down.
Yeah, and especially for Ron and for Bryn, it's kind of a bit of, you're having to hunch over a little bit to reach kind of the table since
Yeah.
it's so low, but you'll manage. About that time, you see some of the older students bring out kind of a large pot of stew, and they start filling bowls and kind of handing them out, almost kind of an assembly line where people aren't rushing to get their share. They're taking it and passing it around to make sure everyone sort of gets their fill, and they kind of ensure the guests get theirs first. There's no utensils. You can see them. You can see some of the students. They wait, and Emma says, "It's all right. Yes, go. It's fine." And then they just kind of start slurping the soup right out of the bowl.
Falcon takes out what honey he has left and pours some into this stew.
I see you haven't changed a bit. Always always have the sweet tooth.
Yeah. I begin
Oh.
drinking.
Most definitely.
That's sort of what we all have in common. It's one of the things we bond over, actually.
Oh, that's quite nice that you will have something to bond and connect over. I'm sure you have questions, Falcon, or anyone. Please feel free. I have no problem answering anything on your mind.
So you teach children how to fight, like Valkan? With
Yes.
fists?
Yes, in a sort, we sort of teach the best we can of not only, of course, fighting, but discipline, self-reliance. Most of the children, if not all, really had nowhere else to go. We sort of continued the tradition whenever we can get away for a moment. We'll visit, Falshir, speak to the local sort of urchins, I suppose. Sorry for lack of other terminology, but the less fortunate who have sort of reverted to stealing and petty theft just to get by. We extend to as many as we can. Of course, not all take our offer, but some do. And I hope the better for it. They seem to be.
How many children are here?
Right now, just shy of about 24, maybe, she thinks for a moment, 18 total. It fluctuates depending. They're not bound here, of course. They can leave whenever they like. Some get here and they don't like, the stringent rule structure here, so they, they abscond and go back to their way of life. But some stay.
I like crawl across the table, getting like super in her face, and I'm like, "What color are your eyes?"
Oh, a curious one, aren't you? They're like light brown.
I'm like, I look at Brandon. I'm like, "Does that check out?"
I don't know the rules.
Why?
Alright.
Why do you ask? What color are your eyes? Is this?
It's nothing.
All right. I'm quite confused. Hopefully that's to your liking.
Oh yes, very good eyes. Yep.
Thank you.
Well, this meal was delicious.
Yes. You're more than welcome to stay if you'd like. Would you mind if I? Well, we'll wait. And you have some casual conversation as dinner finishes, and the students kind of get their bowls, start cleaning up, and it's just kind of the adults are remaining in sort of this dining area. I'm surprised you haven't asked yet, but we still haven't found who did this or why. I fear the longer that we wait, the harder it is to find Sensei.
Wanted to ask as soon as we got here, but really didn't feel like bringing it up in front of the young children.
I understand.
So we've heard nothing. Do we even know exactly what happened to them?
I mean, as much as I protested, and we all protested, the sensei told us that we were to leave. As he, so of course, saw them coming. We didn't have much time. You know him. He's quite stubborn, and in your best interest is not to go against his wishes. Of course. I mean, we have our theories. And Follis he kind of speaks up. I told you. It's the damn Crystal Rose, because they hate us, and it always has been. I don't know why we haven't marched over there already.
What was Crystal?
Temple of the Crystal Rose, that you would know, is sort of a rival academy.
Right.
Occasionally, some of the local temples and schools and academies would get together, almost kind of spar, or essentially kind of
Karate
test
Kid
their...
style?
I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
is this Cobra Kai?
Sweep the leg.
Exactly. They would come together, the idea of sort of trading traditions, because as you were taught, this predates Vantis. This is old Empire stuff. And these kind of traditions have been there a long time.
What I know, did the rivalries get so heated that school would even think about attacking another? Or is Follis just being ridiculous?
You haven't personally seen that happen. Things get pretty heated, but it's kind of up to the the senseis and kind of the senior students to keep things under control, as sort of emotions can run high in those sort of situations, especially with sparring and fighting, trying to prove yourself to the rest of your students.
Okay. Oh. Look. Crystal Rose are a bunch of dicks, I remember.
I know, and they're mad because we kept kicking their ass for the 4 years before that.
You're
You want
damn
me to
right.
punch somebody volcanic, and
Of course.
I'm very good at punching.
However,
Yeah, of course,
And I
you weren't
can't
here to
believe
see
I'm-
it, but that's fine.
well,
It's really
Now,
awkward.
Folus, it's, I mean, anyone can leave when they would like.
I mean, he thought you all were dead. You realize that, right? It wasn't like he didn't want to be here.
I don't know how much
I
he's
just-
told you, but he left on his own. This place was just fine
Right.
last time he
Well-
was here.
I don't know if you remember, Follis. I kind of completed my training, Follis.
Yeah, I remember something like that. You know, take everything you can and leave. Don't give back. Seems kind of your style. And
Nailed it.
and Emma is just kind of like, listen, I just get over this, and just kind of Follis just staring daggers through you.
I'm gonna lean over to Ron. Can I punch that guy, or is that like?
He is not good friend, but we're not sure about the punching. But Ron may look away, something up sky. I don't know.
If I get the chance, I think I'm going to punch him, or like whispering.
Well, I'm just gonna let him be him and turn my attention towards Emma.
Yep, back away. You're used to it. Maybe we could have done something about it if we had the strength of, you know, some additional members here, but that's fine.
Listen, small person.
It's fine, Ron.
Valkan has saved our lives more
That makes
times than
one
Ron
of
can
us.
count. Do you
It's
know
fine.
Valkan punch
And-
dragon in eye and rip out eye?
It's
It is
true.
incredible.
Oh, so we should call him the dragon. Actually, it's too bad it's taken. But listen,
Emma's like,
not
really?
just
And she
our
kind of
lives.
looks over to
He
you.
saves women and children and people in need. We rescued a baby.
And Follis,
orphan baby.
he's hot-headed and ready to argue. He's like, I'm sure he did for coin, not out of the goodness
I'm
of his
gonna
heart.
Punch him. I'm gonna punch that guy later. I'm just going to punch him so hard
No. He's
after I level up.
100% right. I do like a little bit of coin. Thank you very much. Does that make you mad?
Yeah, a bit. You know, turning your
Mm.
back on all of us, leaving us here. I mean, you were one of the favorites, so you could do whatever you
Yeah.
wanted. Get away with it.
And yelling at me now is going to do what exactly?
You know, for once, I think you're right. And he kind of gets up and kind of throws the napkin down on the table. You're right. How about we see how good you are with that new sword of yours?
Dude, this was
Oh, this is not good idea.
okay.
I'll see
I haven't
you
had-
on the stones. And he kind of just turns around and walks outside. You know that the stones are an area that are built out for specific training purposes, kind of rocks with bridges between them over the water, mainly used for like balance, kind of give you incentive to not fall in.
Just turn to Emma and
You don't have to.
I think it'll be fun.
All right.
Besides, he's always been a little shithead like that as much as I can remember.
She just kind of looks just exacerbated. She's like, shit. That didn't take long, did it? All right. I guess you're getting a dinner and a show.
Hmm.
And
I
she
need to
looks-
work off this stew anyways.
She looks at the students.
Oh,
Stay inside. And a couple of them kind of, aw, stay inside. And they kind of say, yes, sensei, and then go back and keep cleaning up.
Valkan, do
And-
not punch his eye out, okay?
No promises.
Good enough.
And that's where we're going to take a break. So,
Yee.
when we come
This is
back,
fun.
You better
Um,
kick his fucking ass.
Yeah.
See if the dice is on my side.
When we come back, we'll see a little bit of looks like some rivalry between old students. So we'll see you here in just a
Monk v.
bit.
monk.
Don't go anywhere. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back. Thank you for all the support
So excited.
as always, for following, resub, sharing the channel, hosting. We like to keep the notifications off so it doesn't break the immersion during the stream. But we thank you very much, and we'll see you here in just a little bit.
Bye. I mean, BRB, not bye. We'll see you later.